Welcome to the stage, Travis Tate.
Thank you. You like my shirt? I got a new shirt for this. I told my wife I need something that's not gonna make me look fat on camera. She goes, have you considered just recording the audio? I'm glad you guys are here though. I'm glad anybody's anywhere anymore, you know? I'll tell you what, the last couple of years has not been a good time in history to have seasonal allergies, you know? Yeah. Every time I clear my throat, people look at me like I just announced that all lives matter. It's like, well, no. Didn't say that. Don't cancel me. I'm an essential worker, which means I didn't go to college. Yeah. It also means I had to work through the whole pandemic, and as an essential worker, I gotta tell you guys, we got a little fast and loose with the word hero, okay? Like, we can't all be heroes. That's not how it works. For my day job, I'm a mailman, and one day, thank you, I appreciate that. One day at the beginning of the pandemic, I'm out doing my route, and there's a mom and her little kid standing in the front yard, and they're holding up a sign. And the sign said, "Thank you for your service, mailman, you're a hero." And I was like, that is so cool. Thank you for making that. You guys are awesome. You even spelled "your" right. Good job. But I've got this second notice from your mortgage company that you need to sign for. Yeah. It was great having you guys in the neighborhood, though. You are heroes. I never know how it's going to go when I tell people that I work for the post office. Some people give me credit for the last election. Other people blame me for it, you know? They think we were like filling out ballots for real, like the news was telling them. If it makes you feel better, I didn't vote for either one of those guys. Nope, I voted for Kanye. It's absolutely true. I voted for Kanye West, which means I'm better than most of you because I voted for a black guy. Yep. And a real one, not technically one like Obama. You guys know what I'm talking about, though, you know? You saw him out campaigning with Biden. He's out there going, would you folks like to see me shoot a three-point shot? Like, really? A three-pointer? Everybody knows the three-point line is the only reason there's still white people in the NBA, Barack. That proves nothing, okay? We got Biden. I think Biden is like kale. Yeah. Because everybody's always talking about how much they love it. But you know, nobody's really buying it. It's just kind of sitting there wilting, you know. Come on, man. We don't want to forget about Trump. You know, when he was in office, people would say things like, Trump's a fascist, he's a dictator. And I was always like, I think you guys are giving him way too much credit, actually. You know what Donald Trump is? He's that guy on the freeway that won't let you get over. You know? He speeds up when you speed up, slows down when you slow down. I don't think he even knows why he's doing it, to be honest with you. He just has a compulsion to mess with somebody, you know? Even if it hurts him, because he's probably gonna miss his exit messing with me. Then he's gonna show up late to work, say the clock cheated, and demand a recount. Since I had to work through the whole pandemic, of course I had to wear masks. You know, I think I've breathed in so many mask particles. I honestly believe if I blew my nose hard enough, I could just 3D print a brand new mask. I'm actually gonna sell them after the show if you guys want one. They're artisanal, they're very nice, very nice. Sometimes I would forget, because I got so accustomed to wearing the mask, I would forget I had it on, you know? One time I took a huge swig of water with a mask on. Yeah, basically waterboarded myself. It was horrible. Or I would smile at somebody, but they didn't know I was smiling. They couldn't see the bottom part of my face. They could just see my eyes squinting, like I was staring at them, studying their face. Like I was gonna write them a poem using letters I clipped out of a Field and Stream magazine. The poem would go, "You got a pretty mouth indeed. which is why I'll put you at the front of my human centipede. Look, you guys, I don't judge your pets. Say what you will about masks, though, they've got to be better at fighting COVID than all the toilet paper we were hoarding, right? What was that even about? I don't even know why we did it. I did it. I don't know why, you know? I finally got smart, though. I bought a bidet. Yeah, life-changing. It really is. You know, you feel like a king when you clean yourself off with warm water. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, for real. And I get it. People are weird about bidets. I was, too. I didn't trust them. I always felt like it was going to a brushless car wash. Felt like it wasn't really cleaning if I couldn't feel the bristles, you know? But now I can't even start my day until I've played a round of Drown the Clown, right? Yeah. It's amazing. It works so well. I bought a portable bidet so I could take it on the road with me. I mean, it's just a squirt bottle, but it does the trick just fine. Yeah. I changed my mind on bidets. I always wonder what else is going to change going forward. Like, I can't believe people are still riding around on those stupid Lime scooters. First of all, they're dangerous, but they're also gross. You know, people just throw them on the ground when they're done with them. One night after a show, I walked out and I saw a guy peeing on like a whole line of them. Yeah, like he was marking his territory, like, this is bird scooter country around here. Just lick a toilet, it's probably cleaner, you know? I wonder if people are gonna go back to smoking instead of vaping. Because I think I'd rather breathe in somebody's secondhand smoke than their blueberry-flavored water droplets, right? In fact, I think if somebody vapes directly into your path, it should be legal to knock them down and fart in their mouth. Because at least farts aren't gonna spread COVID, right? I mean, pink eye maybe, but it's an easier fix. Kissing booths have gotta be gone, right? There's no way they're coming back. Can you believe there was a time in history where people would stand in a line and pay money to kiss somebody that already kissed a bunch of people right before them? That is disgusting. That'd be like if you went into Costco and they were giving out pizza samples. But instead of cutting the pizza into little pieces, they were just holding up the slice, letting everybody take a bite out of it. You know? If you saw that happening, you'd be like, did I just walk into Sam's Club? What's going on here? The whole world's gone crazy, too. Like all the riots we were seeing, you know? The ones I didn't understand were like the ones up in Portland. Like, you live in the most liberal place in the country, you're all liberal, why are you so mad? Like, did you guys smoke all of the weed? Is that what happened? I thought it was funny when I saw people looting Target stores, too. So I was like, it's almost as if Target has placed a symbol on their building, directing people exactly where to go to find free stuff. Like, the only name they could have chosen that would have been worse is X marked the spot, right? Then we got all the woke people. I saw this, it was a news story on CNN. It was about women's health. But they were trying to be super progressive, so they didn't refer to them as women. They referred to them as individuals with a cervix. Yeah. I was like, is that what we're doing now? Really? Individuals with a cervix? Well, you can stop calling me a straight white male right now. Just start calling me an individual that gets blamed for everything. Then you got the people that hate the super woke people, the anti-woke. You know, the people that get offended by people getting offended? Does that make sense? Remember when they were outraged because there was an announcement that they were gonna make a gender-neutral Mr. Potato Head? First of all, when was the last time a kid played with a Mr. Potato Head? Like 1992? But it was always like a trans-friendly toy, if you think about it. What's the first thing any kid did when they got one? They started mixing boys and girls parts. It's fun, you know? If you ask me, that shouldn't have been the headline. The headline should have been, Mr. Potato Head has been letting little kids put weird stuff in his butt for 70 years. That's the headline. I ended up catching COVID in 2020. I got the OG strain. It's super pure, you know? My taste and smell are still screwed up, actually. But the weirdest side effect I had was it made my butt super hot. Only body part that was affected like that. I kept telling my wife, come and touch my butt. My butt is so hot right now. My butt is on fire. I think I've got butt fever, actually. You know? It is so warm back there, I'm pretty sure I could cook a prison grilled cheese. You know, like a panini press there. Just throw a hamburger patty on there, call it a booty melt. You know? It's okay, you guys, I've got a bidet, it's fine, you know, remember? Those COVID tests, those were crazy, right? As uncomfortable as they were, it's kind of weird to think about this, but there had to be a group of people out there that were into having it done, right? Like they're sitting in their car, gripping the steering wheel, the person in the hazmat suit's reaching in, and they're going, deeper! And if that's the case, there at least had to be a few people that had like a secret fantasy of getting both nostrils at the same time. I had to get my knee replaced last year. I shredded the meniscus in my knee. When I went to the emergency room and I'm laying on the table, they're taking all these x-rays and stuff, and the nurse comes in, she goes, all right, the doctor wants me to fit you for a knee brace. This is a large. This ought to do the trick. And she gets it like halfway up my leg and it gets stuck. So she starts tugging, like with all of her might on my hurt leg. And I was like, hey, any chance you've got an extra large knee brace in the back? like it's a Payless shoes? She goes, actually, we do have an extra large back there, but we never use it because it's cartoonishly big. Yeah. I was like, well, you're making me feel like Cinderella's stepsister right now, so maybe we could just give it a try. She goes, I just can't get it past your calf. Your calves are huge. I was like, yeah, I'm 300 pounds. Every day's leg day. It's my whole workout plan, actually. I am a big guy. It's not as glamorous as a lot of people think it is. There are some drawbacks to being a big guy. Some of those are self-imposed drawbacks, by the way. Like, I have always wanted to try that indoor surfing thing, but I am just paranoid to do it. Because I'm afraid they'll turn the jets on high and I'll still just be standing there, unmoved, with waves crashing all around me, like I'm a sad human peninsula. They have weight restrictions on things too, and it's usually really fun stuff, like zip lining, for example. I don't know what the weight restriction is for zip lining, because when I went, they didn't weigh me. No, they just let me go. And guess what, everybody? Go I did. Yeah, I flew down that mountain, all right? People on the ground looked up like Halley's Comet was screaming through the sky. I looked at the little pulley above me. There was smoke coming out of it. Didn't even know that was possible. At the bottom of the hill, there's a giant spring that has been placed there to bring people to a gentle stop. I compressed it flat. It was like a brand new Slinky on Christmas morning. It was beautiful. But it was so fun that I had to go again. So I got back on the ski lift and I rode up to the top of the mountain. Except this time when I got up there, the dudes working up there were waiting for me. They're like, sir, you set off a sensor the last time you went down. We are really sorry to do this. I know it's embarrassing, but we're gonna have to ask you to step on this scale. And then they handed me a scale from the 1980s, all right? It was the kind before digital. It had the little dial on it. And I was a chubby kid in the 80s, you guys, so I know exactly how to cheat this scale. All you have to do is just lean forward a little bit and it pinches down on the dial and stops it right where you want it to. So I was like, yeah, no problem, happy to help out. So I step up there, I give it a second, I lean forward and go, all right, looks like I'm good to go. It says right here, I weigh 115 pounds. Must be all the thin mountain air up here, you know? I am trying to slim down, get back into shape. I know you're all like, you should probably try a little harder. That's fair. You know, I'm in my 40s now, my metabolism is slowing down. It's tougher. When I was younger, I got into the best shape of my life. I was playing semi-pro football. I could dunk a basketball. I started thinking to myself, I think I'm actually looking pretty good right now. I think it's time for me to shave my chest. So I grabbed a razor and some shaving cream, and I jumped in the shower, and I just started shaving away. And I felt like I did a pretty good job until I got out of the shower and stood in front of a mirror. Because that's when I realized that I now look like a giant 12-year-old version of myself. If I were wearing the bottom half of a Chewbacca costume. Thinking about it now, right? Yeah. Seems like a perfect time to tell you guys I have got really big nipples. You guys, they're like, I can't even close a circle. You know, I'm not gonna lie about that. Why would I lie about that? Why would I make that up? You know? They're a healthy portion. That's what I'm telling you. I actually get excited when it's cold outside, because when it's cold out, they kind of shrink down and almost look normal. But during the warm summer months, they just spread out like a hot Toll House cookie. It's embarrassing. Between my big nipples and my cavernous belly button, whenever I take my shirt off, it looks like my torso is really surprised. Like, I told that joke once, and a lady in the crowd yelled, "Show them to us!" I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, but I am a gentleman. I have manners. So ladies first." And you know what I learned? Never play chicken with a drunk woman in a Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirt. Yeah. They were down here, you guys. She had friends in low places. That's what I'm telling you. I grew up here. I loved growing up in Utah. I thought it was cool. I had a great childhood. I did find it interesting that some of my friends' moms would have these special rooms in their house that nobody was allowed to go into, like the front room. They'd have like white carpet, white couches, pictures of Jesus all over the walls. Like, I guess their idea was when Jesus comes back, if he happens to come to our house, this is where we'll entertain him. You know? Play some primary songs on the piano, like, serve him a Sprite. Let's be honest, it would be store brand Sprite, right? Because if he wants a Sprite, he can turn it into a Sprite. I always wondered how exactly that would go down if he did show up at their house. Like, he knocks on the door and she opens it up. She's like, "Oh my gosh. I can't believe you're here. This is amazing. Please, please come in. Come have a seat. Come have a seat in this room right here. Actually, Jesus, before you go in there, would you mind taking your sandals off? They look a little dusty. Yes, brand new carpet." Yeah. Jesus is like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. It's not like I died for your sins or anything. Pretty funny that I can walk on water, but I can't walk on Kathy Christiansen's white carpet." Right? I love laughing at church, actually. That's the best laugh, when you're not supposed to. I remember one time I'm sitting with my wife. There's a guy giving a talk about perseverance and never giving up. And he tells a story about this old donkey that falls into a dried up well and gets stuck. It can't get out. No matter what it tries, it can't get out. The farmer comes along, he sees what's happened, he tries to help, but again, nothing works. So he just gives up. He decides, that donkey's too old to work, there's no water left in that well, I'm just gonna fill it up with dirt, call it good. So that's what he starts to do. He starts dumping dirt in there, but instead of standing there getting buried, the donkey would shake the dirt off and then step up onto it. So after a little while, the donkey was back up on the ground. He was free. Happy ending, right? But I started laughing hysterically. My wife goes, "What is wrong with you? Why are you laughing at that?" I said, "What is the biblical word for donkey?" She goes, "Ass?" I was like, "Yeah, and what is a well with no water in it?" "It's a hole." He just told a 15-minute story in church about an asshole. I think that's pretty funny. She's like, oh, I'm married to a junior high student. Here, you want to play around on my phone? Maybe bring up the calculator app, type the word boobies into it. I was like, come on, that's not fun to do anymore. Because you have to turn it upside down to get the letters right. And the smartphone, the screen just keeps turning. It's like a cat and mouse game. You can never win, yeah? I got married really young, you guys. Like, even for Utah standards, it was really young. It was right after high school. My wife was 18. I was actually still 17. Yep. It's 100% true. I was 6 weeks away from turning 18. My mom and dad had to sign our marriage certificate to make it legal, which means my parents essentially signed custody of me over to my wife for a month and a half. And I gotta tell you, I got sent to my room a lot, you guys. So many spankings. Yes. I was a naughty boy, what can I say? Bit of a scamp, you know? She was like, you're asking for it, and I was like, yes, I am. Just keep them coming, or else I can't. Sorry, Mom. Filling out paperwork is always weird. I was like, hey, do I put you down as spouse or legal guardian? I honestly don't know. I think I'm gonna put both, actually. That'll be fun for Visa to figure out, right? They'll look at the application and go, I don't understand. They're not even from Kentucky. It makes sense. One thing people don't tell you about getting married that young is that your wedding gifts are gonna be horrible. Because you invite all your friends and they're young kids that are broke just like you. I honestly believe most of my buddies just went through their parents' house with an empty cardboard box and just started piling random crap in there. Because when we were opening up our presents, we're like, all right, we got some tiny hotel shampoos. It's a little weird, but I guess it's the thought that counts, right? Here's a half a roll of duct tape. That'll come in handy on the honeymoon, cool. And a can of peaches in light syrup. What are we, newlyweds or hurricane victims? Get out of here. I had a buddy give us a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos as a wedding present. I asked him about it later. He was like, what's the big deal, man? It was family sized. Plus I threw in a free chip clip. I was like, yeah, because you already opened them, you dick. We even got one of those candy bar signs, and my wife was not happy with that one, because we got it from a girl that was kind of into me. And the first line of the sign said, congratulations, you big hunk, and your new whatchamacallit. Yeah. We can all agree whatchamacallit's probably like the worst possible candy you could use to describe a woman, right? There's way better candies out there, like Smarties, or Bit of Honey, or Mounds. Almond Joy if the air conditioner's on. Still a nipple joke for you. Yeah. That wasn't even my favorite part of the sign, though. My favorite part of the sign is the fact that she misspelled the word congratulations. She spelled it with a D instead of a T. Sometimes when I tell people that, I look at their faces and I can tell they're like, I did not know that was wrong. But there's still a J in there, right, for Julations? I actually like Julations better. I think we should start saying that. Congrats kind of sounds sarcastic, you know? Like if somebody said, hey, Travis, I got concert tickets. I would say, Julations. And then they would say, it's a Maroon 5 concert. And I would say, ooh, congrats. That is gonna suck. I have kids. I have 3 kids. Sometimes they ask like really stupid questions. Give me an example. Hey, Dad, who's your favorite kid? Like, what are you supposed to say to that, right? I always tell them the same thing. I don't have a favorite. I love you all the same. They know that's a bold-faced lie. So I've decided to use this as kind of like a motivational tool over the years. Yeah. So now every Sunday night, I post a weekly ranking. Yeah. Just like the USA Today coaches poll. And I actually got some amazing results from it, I gotta tell you. Like one day, out of the blue, my daughter just brings me a sandwich. I was like, wow, thanks, sweetheart, that looks great. But you do know your brothers are outside doing yard work right now, right? And you could have at least like thrown some chips on the plate or cut the crust off the bread. Try and run the score up a little bit. And she goes, Dad, just look between the bread. And so I did. And there was a $20 bill in there. She goes, well, I guess I'm your new number one, and did like the robot moonwalk out of the room. And at first I was like, sweet, free money. But then I started wondering, where did she get $20 from? So I checked my wallet, and sure enough, I was missing 20 bucks. She had just bribed me with my own money. But it made me really proud as a dad to know my little girl's gonna grow up and have an amazing career in politics. I got to go to an all-girls camp with my daughter. That was pretty cool. They needed some dads there to like fight the bears or something. I don't know. But her and her friends, they decided they wanted to torture me a little bit. You know, they thought since it was a girls' camp that I ought to have a girl's name. Since my name is Travis, they thought it'd be fun to call me Trevisha, which to me sounds like some sort of medication. You know, like the commercial would go, "Ask your doctor if Trevisha's right for you." Side effects may include weight gain, slow movement, and uncontrollable dad jokes. The name caught on too, and then because of that "Bye Felicia" meme that's on the internet, I would have like 15 girls a day walk up to me and go, "Bye, Trevisha." And that kind of started to hurt my feelings a little bit. Because you're only supposed to "Bye Felicia" somebody if you think they're annoying and you want them to go away. But I didn't get mad. I was like, "Catch me outside, how about that?" No, I was patient. I waited for the sun to go down. I waited for them to have their little s'mores. I waited for all the gossiping in the tents to stop. And then I went over to my truck. I turned on my headlights. I stood in front of my headlights. And I started up my chainsaw. Yeah, just vroom, 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 vroom. I got called a lot of things that night, you guys. Trevisha wasn't one of them. I kind of miss when my kids were younger. When my middle son, when he was a toddler, he was like the fattest, squishiest little guy you ever saw. I know, hard to believe coming from the genetic lottery that he here. But when he was teething, he would just drool like buckets and buckets of slobber. I mean, it would get so bad, we hardly even put clothes on him because the clothes would just get sopping wet. He was basically like Slimer from the Ghostbusters movies. But one night, I was holding him while I was watching a football game. And the team that I was cheering for scored a really important touchdown. And I got excited. And I went, "Yes!" And you know when you're in the shower and you squeeze the bar of soap too tightly and it squirts up into the air? Well, that's what happened to my kid. Right? While he was kind of floating through the air, time slowed down, which is good, because I ended up bobbling him like 4 times before I finally got one hand around his ankle and the other hand right behind his neck and shoulders. As soon as I realized he was okay, I pulled him in close. I kissed him on the forehead. I pointed up to the sky, and then I spiked him. Because that was an amazing catch, you guys. All pro catch. When my oldest son was about 4 years old, I took him to the zoo. It was just me and him. We had a great day. We got to see every animal there. We rode their little train around. We even saw a Bengal tiger spray a field trip of little kids with urine. You guys, it was magical, all right? But after a few hours, I said, "All right, buddy, it's time for us to head home." And my son goes, "But Dad, what about the gift shop? We always go to the gift shop." And I said, "I know, buddy, but money's a little bit tight right now. We're not gonna be able to do that this time." And he let go of my hand and he stopped walking. And I heard him say, "I'm going to that gift shop." And I turned and looked back at him, and he had an evil look on his face. He was staring me right in the eyes, and he whispered, "Stranger, kidnapper." So I grabbed his hand and said, "All right, we are leaving." That's when he started screaming, "Stranger, kidnapper, help!" And everybody within earshot turned and looked right at me. And I realized that if he sticks with his story, which he definitely will, that I have no way to prove this is actually my kid. So I did the most logical thing I could think of. I picked him up and ran for the exit. On my way out, there was a tired-looking mother pushing a stroller, and she shoved it out in front of me and yelled, "Hey, you, stop!" But I just fake left and cut right. Went right past her, just like Bo Jackson on Tecmo Bowl. But as I kept running, I looked over my shoulder and saw that she had picked up her stroller, and she was trying to chase me down. And she's screaming, "Wait! Come back! Take mine too!" I'll give you a 2-day head start. And that's the story of how I got my 2 younger kids. All right, thank you, everybody. I'm Travis Tate.